Assalamu alaikum. In today's lesson, we will learn about descriptive writing. Today, our topic is descriptive writing. First, let's discuss what writing is. What is writing? Writing is the process of using symbols. These symbols include letters of the alphabet, punctuation, and spaces. These symbols are used to communicate thoughts and ideas in a readable form. There are 5 types of writings: expository writing, creative writing, persuasive writing, narrative writing, and descriptive writing. Today we are going to learn descriptive writing. Descriptive writing is a type of writing that is meant to describe a person, place, or event in great detail. There are 5 types of descriptive writings: biography, travel writing, poetry, nature writing, and journal. In other words, we can say that the purpose of descriptive writing is to describe a person, place, or thing in such a way that a picture is formed in the reader's mind. It does not tell the reader that the flower is beautiful. It shows them that the flower is beautiful with words. The reader feels like he or she is a part of the writer's experience of what is being described. Some of the examples of descriptive writing using the 5 senses are gently blowing in the breeze, the buzz of bees coming to drink the nectar, as sweet as honeysuckle, soft velvety petals, tasty in salads and teas. Description is giving details about a person, place, or thing, etc., that allows the reader to experience what you have experienced. In order to create a good description, you must appeal to the 5 senses and create pictures in the reader's mind. How to create word pictures in the reader's mind? You already use adjectives in your writings, but you want to be even more creative. You want to create pictures in their mind, word pictures or imagery. Imagery does not include what you see. It also includes what you hear, smell, taste, touch, and even feel. The main idea of descriptive writing is don't tell me, show me. One of the most important things to remember when you're creating a description is to show, not tell. Now, what does that mean? Show, don't tell. This is an old saying that means give the reader actions, thoughts, senses, and feelings rather than simple description. So instead of telling right away how Mr. Smith was, like instead of saying Mr. Smith was fat, grouchy, old man, you will have to use such vivid adjectives so that a picture is created in the reader's mind. You will have to say Mr. Smith heaved his heavy frame out of the armchair and while trying to reach for his cane grumbled, "Susan, get yourself over here now." How do you do this? How would you create a vivid picture in the reader's mind? For that, you have to use sensory language. In order for readers to fully experience what you're writing about, they need to be able to see, hear, taste, smell, and touch the world around them. Try to use language that incorporates several senses, not just sight. For example, you can say, "Ah, I hate when the sour taste of sweat drips into my mouth during practice." Secondly, you will have to use metaphor and simile. First, let's learn what metaphor and similes are. Metaphor and simile are the tools used for imagery. It means they are used to create a picture in the reader's mind. First, let's discuss what simile is. Simile is a comparison of two different things using the word like or as. For example, on her first day of school, Jane was as cool as a cucumber. Metaphor, on the other hand, is also a tool used for creating imagery, but it is a comparison of two different things that does not use the words like or as. For example, Noah has a heart of a lion. So when comparison is made between two totally different things with the use of like or as, that is called as simile. And if that same comparison is made without the use of like or as, that is called as metaphor. Coming back to our main topic, which was descriptive writing. The second option to create a vivid picture in the reader's mind was to use metaphors or similes. These tools create an interesting or unexpected image for the reader. If your protagonist is the main character of the story, is stealthy, you could use a simile about a falling leaf. You could say she landed under the window like a leaf that had fallen from a tree. Here we are using the word like. It means that we are using simile here. Another example would be, our new puppy restlessly wandered around the house, his nails clicking over the wood floor like tap dancing beetles. Here, again the word like is used. It means that we are using simile for comparison. And with the use of simile, a very clear picture is already made in our mind about the dog wandering around the house on the wooden floor. The third option to create a clear picture in the reader's mind is that we have to be more specific. It means that we have to provide more details, more information. We have to use a lot of metaphors and a lot of similes. We also have to use a lot of sensory verbs. Only then a clear picture will be made in the reader's mind. Only then he will understand the events. Only then he'll be able to understand the story in a better way. For example, we can't say Aiden went to see a musical. Instead of that, we could say because a friend told him that seeing a musical is the thing to do in London. Aiden found himself standing inside the front door of the Foxwoods Theatre. As you can see, we became more specific in the second part. We provided more details about what was going around, and the reader had a clear picture of the story and the event in his mind. So this is how description is made. There is one thing which we have to avoid while writing a description. It is the use of a lot of adjectives. Show, don't tell is not about adding as many adjectives as possible to your sentences. For example, we can't say Emily slowly sat on the scratched, worn leather couch that was situated in the left corner of her tiny, sparsely decorated living room. We are here using a lot of adjectives and it is not helping us with the description. Another example is the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Here again we are using a lot of adjectives in a single sentence and it is not helping us in the description. So keep it in mind whenever you're writing description, you have to use adjectives but not a lot in a single sentence. One more thing to keep in mind is rather than saying show, don't tell, we should say this: show as much as you can, tell as little as you can. Why? Because it's impossible to show all the time. Sometimes you will need to directly tell the reader what's on your mind. It means that it's not possible all the time to use sensory verbs and use metaphors and similes. You can just simply directly tell the reader what's in your mind, and it might also help in your description. Now let's learn how descriptive paragraphs are written. Descriptive paragraphs are mostly about places or people. As we already know that descriptions are word pictures. It means that pictures are made in the reader's mind with the use of words. You tell how something looks, feels, smells, tastes and sounds. and this is only done with the use of sensory verbs. You will have to provide details of the five senses as much as possible. You need to become a sharp observer and notice many small details so that you can write a good word picture. If you don't notice the small details, you won't be able to provide a proper picture to the reader. Let's have a look at how to describe people in a more interesting way. While describing a person, there are several aspects you can mention, but the main ones are appearance and personality. While describing a person, you have to tell who he or she is. You have to tell about their group, their family, age, and their professions. You have to talk about their physical appearance. You have to talk about their characteristics. For example, you can say that he has blonde hair. You can say that he has blue eyes. You can say that he has round face. You can also talk about their clothes, how they feel usually, and you can also talk about their hobbies. All of these together, if described in a proper way, will provide a very clear picture of that person. To make it more understandable, you can say that a description of a person have to answer these questions. Who is the person? What does the person do? What does he or she look like? How does the person act? How is his or her personality? How does he or she make others feel? So if you can answer these questions properly, you will make a very clear description of that person. Here is another example. There are some questions given, and if you answer these questions, you will be able to write a proper description. Here in this poster, there is a monster, and the questions given are, can you describe me? The first question is, can you describe my personality? The second is, what do I look like? Third one is, what are my hobbies? Fourth is, where do I live? The fifth question is, what is my name? And the last question, do I have special powers? While writing description, you have to come up with such questions in your mind. And if you are able to provide the answers in a proper way, that would be the best way to write a description of a person. While describing a person, there comes a question in our mind, who can you describe? Or who can we describe? So the answer is, you can describe anyone. You can describe someone you admire. You can describe a famous person. You can describe someone who had an impact in your life. Those can be your friends, your parents, your teachers. And you can describe an interesting person you met. So you can describe anyone you like. While describing a person, you have to make use of adjectives. Those can be positive adjectives related to his character, or those can also be negative adjectives related to his character or his personality. Let's have a quick revision of how to describe a person. While describing a person, you have to describe their physical appearance. You have to talk about their personality and their character. You can talk about their attitudes, their behavior, interests, hobbies, and their profession. Your personal impression and opinion can also be included regarding that person you are describing. Let's have a look at the structure of description. Structure of description should have the following. It should have a title. It should be written in paragraphs, and its body should have three main parts. The first part is the introduction, where you introduce the subject you are going to talk about. The second part is the body, which consists of 2 or 3 paragraphs developing your ideas, like you are providing more details about the person you're talking about or the thing you're talking about. And the last part will be the conclusion, where you end your writing by doing a summary of what you have talked about, giving your opinion or making your suggestion. So while writing a description, your first step is that you have to select a topic. Second, you have to use descriptive words. Then you have to organize your details in order. Fourth, you have to use figurative language. And the last is that you have to write a conclusion of your description. While writing description, you have to add some details to your writings. These can be divided into two parts, the grammar and vocabulary and the content part. In grammar and vocabulary, you can add conditionals, you can do comparisons, you can use phrasal verbs or set of phrasal verbs, you can add linkers of addition, and you can add new adjectives. While in the content part, you can write what that person is famous for, what do they look like, what is their personality like, what do you admire most about them, what would you do if you meet them. You can write about their physical appearance, you can write about their personality, character, attitude, behavior, interests, hobbies, profession, etc. And you could also write your personal impression or opinion about that person. Here is an example of description of a person. The question is, write a description of one of your first teachers. Why do you remember him or her? The whole writing is divided into three parts. The first part is the introduction. The second and third paragraph consist of the body, and the last paragraph is the conclusion. In the first paragraph, the writer has used modifiers, adjectives, and he is talking about the teacher's age. In the second paragraph, he has mentioned some memories, appearance, example, and his clothes. And in the third paragraph, he has provided some examples. In the last paragraphs, he is talking about some memories. The description is written as, my first teacher was very tall and quite old. Perhaps I thought that because I was very short and quite young. I was 5 years old. My teacher's name was Miss Dunn, and I adored her. I remember that Miss Dunn had long, dark hair and a big smile. She was always kind to the children. Her voice soft, and she never shouted. She was slim like a model, and she wore long skirts and pretty blouses. We all thought she was like a queen. Miss Dunn was an extremely kind person, and everyone loved her, but she was also a very good teacher. She taught us all how to read and write. I still remember the things she said, and I would really like to meet her now and say, thank you for everything you taught me. After reading this description, we all have a very clear picture of Miss Dunn in our minds now. It is because the writer has used such strategies to make it possible. He has used comparisons, he has used sensory verbs, he talked about the teacher's appearance, about her personality, he compared her with a queen. All of these details helped us in making a clear picture of the teacher in our minds. If you want to write description in just one paragraph, how will we write it? Here I have an example for you. The writer has described his grandmother here. The first part of the paragraph is about introduction, the second description, and in the third paragraph, the writer has referred to an interesting incident. Let's have a look at the example. My grandmother is an old woman. She is short and fat and slightly bent. Her face is a crisscross of wrinkles. In fact, she has been old and wrinkled as far back as I can remember, with silver locks tied neatly in a plait. I have seen photographs of her being young and pretty, but that was a long time ago. She was pretty once, but now she is truly beautiful. She wears loose-fitting shalwars and kurtas, and a white dupatta. She sometimes tells us of the games she used to play as a child. That seems quite absurd and unbelievable. She tells us of the times she would escape the watchful eye of her mother and go swimming in the Sutlej River. So this is how you write the description of a person in just one paragraph. I hope you understand it well.